In today's labor market, employers, education, and job seekers often speak different languages.
We are hearing from employers that students are leaving higher ed institutions not prepared for what they need to do for the workforce.
The only way to solve that problem is to get below the job title level and get down to the skills level. We need to define things at a more granular level.
We believe that what's needed is a common language between people in education and work.
We think skills is the right way to do it.
So one question I get is, what's a skill?
You can use the same name for a skill and have it mean entirely different things depending on the context.
What is the most important, the most critical skills, and what are the skills that need to be in the context so that skill gets its meaning?
At MZ, a skill is a word that's used consistently in the conversation between employers in their job postings and people at work. We're pulling out of that conversation words that are common and important. And to MZ, that's what we mean by a skill.
There's really three key aspects to MZ skills. The first is for colleges. We want colleges and universities to do a better job of helping people understand the skills that are coming out of the programs and the curriculum they're offering. In this case, what we're doing is mapping skills to curriculum. The second is we want to help employers better understand the skills they're asking for and to make sure they're asking for the right ones. The final piece to all this is helping people. We want people to list the right skills in their resumes and profiles so they can signal into the market and find the best possible job.
Most people's experience is this meandering path of discovery of career and experience. And in that meandering, we lose sight of and aren't great at understanding our own skills and abilities, specifically in terms of how they might translate into work. Because we're looking at how skills in the market, skills from the demand side, and the roles that employers are asking for, we're looking at how they relate. When we have an individual with the same kind of skill relationship, we can plot that person against that map of opportunities and show what's nearby. And what's nearby is often surprising to the individual. There's typically more opportunity than less.
In most large companies, it's really hard for them to find talent.
A financial analyst in New York City will look completely different from one in Columbus, Ohio.
One of the ways that MZ Skills has been able to help drive a better job posting process is really having that consistent language and then setting expectations with hiring managers to say, hey, these are the skills we should be advertising for, and here's the expectation of what we can reasonably ask for.
The MZ Skills language and the ability to define a company's workforce by the skill shape of their employees enables them to better understand how to hire and recruit out in the market.
Employers don't care if you're a computer programmer. They care if you have those necessary skills, if you have that experience. And for us to be able to convey that message is essential to what we do.
They're looking for a unique mix of skills and abilities to drive their particular business need. And that's why skills are so important.
We worked with MZ to take a look at our existing competencies and help us identify what the skills were that were taught within our programs versus the skills that are sought by employers, and if there was a gap.
It's not an unusual situation for a student to wonder, why on earth am I taking this course?
It gives you a level of comfort as you're creating your programs because you know what you're building into them is exactly what students need.
Skills is the foundation for building a thriving regional talent ecosystem.
We just have the prospect of working in a world where all three spheres of this problem are talking the same language, and the opportunities are astronomical.
I think fundamental for all of this is, what are we trying to accomplish? And for me, as a former mayor or deputy mayor, that answer is pretty simple. It's we're trying to improve the quality of life for people who live in our cities.